Welcome back to the channel. We are underneath the Patrol bonnet for once. It's been a little bit jealous with all the work that Mark put into the Defender. The Patrol's been sitting here very sad. Nothing special today, but I'm going to replace my injector seals. I think there's 3 copper washers to each injector. Reason being, on that trip over to Perth, actually on the way back, there's a little weep out of this front one, so yeah, time to change it. We tightened it up and it was still just weeping a little bit. It's not doing it at the moment, but obviously there's an issue. First things first, we'll whip the intercooler off and get in there nice and close and see what we've got to deal with. I've never done it before, so let's do it. 4 bolts, the old nano kit, lives under the seat. This is a SID chrome, yeah, they call it a nano set or a nano kit. Man, it is such a handy little kit. I think it goes up to like 14mm. All your Phillips heads, torque bit, like smaller bits, great for under your seat. There is a lot of times we're reaching for it, whether it be stuffing around with camera gear or, yeah, obviously vehicles and whatever. So, handy bit of kit. SID chrome wouldn't be the only company that do them, but something like that, very handy under your seat. Anyway, let's get this intercooler off. We need to undo our top union nuts, or union nuts, I guess they're called. That is the part that the fuel goes through. It's the top of the into the top of the injector. So 17mm for the union nut, and backing it up on the actual injector, or the nut above the fuel return, whatever that part is a 19. If you don't back it up, you can start to actually spin and weaken the fuel lines or the fuel return lines. So you don't want to be doing that, otherwise you're going to have to fork out for some sort of fuel line. And it's pretty tight as far as getting 2 spanners in there. So good luck to you. Now you might want to also loosen off the clamp, the fuel line clamps as well. May give you a little bit more wiggle room to get the lines out of the way, so then we can tackle the next part. Okay, so we've got all of our lines off. I've just pulled them out the way gently. You don't want to stress them too much because you'll crack them and have to be forking out for new ones. I've already done I think it's like, well, I'm not sure the number of the order of it, but if it's from back or front, but I've done the front 3, pull the injectors out, been super careful, not as well as I've tried to clean as good as you can in and around there. It's a 4-wheel drive, it's a dirty vehicle, so just be super careful. You don't want to drop any muck into the injector hole. That's not ideal. So I'll run through the next one, if I can find my socket. So this is an impact socket, so they're a bit girthier, but I've had to grind it down because it's the only thing I've had to get past some of the other engine parts of the motor and whatever. So I've literally just linished that down on the linishing belt over there to sit in there, but that's a 22mm. You want to pull the whole injector out, not disassemble the injector. I think the other ones are 19, so 22mm is what you want. Grind it down if you have to, if not, get the right tool for the job. Slide him over, find an extension. They shouldn't be too tight, depending on when they were last done. Right, with the others, I've sort of pulled the socket out of there once it's cracked and it's hand tight. You can sort of just be really gentle because there is still crap around it. So there it is. See all the scum around the back of the injector, so you want to be pretty careful you don't drop that stuff in there. So there'll be 2. One of the copper washers may come out with the injector, but you have 2 to get. I've got this angled pick to once again be super careful, not to push anything in the hole. You just want to sort of pick both of them up, or one at a time, however your fishing skills are. I'm not that good, so I got one. The other one's slightly deeper. Both washers there. Grab them out. And with the two new ones, I was basically just putting it onto the pick, make sure there's nothing on your pick, and then being super careful once again, A, to not drop it somewhere into the engine bay and you'll never find it again, but more importantly, not to push any dirt in the hole. That's that one. Make sure they're seated nice too. You don't want it sitting on an angle, and then you go to tighten torque up your injector, and it's pushing it on some funky angle. Get in there. So I've cleaned up the thread on the injector, just gently with like a copper wire brush. You want to be super careful of this end, so I haven't touched it at all. Like I said before, I've never done this before. I don't really know what I'm doing either, so if I'm doing it wrong, let me know in the comments, but we'll find out and see if it starts after. We got it in nice and easy. Make sure you've got it threaded properly. Last thing to do, oh, I actually forgot a step. These are to be torqued up about 45 Newton meters. Beautiful. I forgot to remove the original, the third washer. So, pointing those pliers. I'll show you on the next one I pull out, but you can get to it from the outside. This is the washer that goes from, it's got holes in it for your fuel return line. I've mangled it a bit, but that's the one with holes in it. You might be able to see, I'll show you the new one. That's the third washer that just sits over the top of the injector before you put the fuel return line back over. So yes, two more to do. And we can start putting everything back together again. Hopefully I haven't done anything wrong. Everything's been torqued up so far. 45 Newton meters. Yeah, I think it's 45. Factory Nissan spec for the injectors. Now we're just fitting that fuel return or whatever it's called. Not forgetting all them copper washers that we spoke about. And you put all your banjo nuts or bloody whatever you want to call them. They go over top of the overflow line, return line rather. But other than intercooler, I think we're pretty well good to kick her in the guts. Hopefully it starts, hopefully it doesn't leak. Then we're on a winner. Well, it's not leaking there, so that's a good start. I'm going to pull this out the shed and give that a clean while the cooler's off. The real test will when it's pumping some serious fuel into it, but first impressions are good. Alright, so I've given that a degrease and a clean up with the with a gurney outside. It's come up bloody good, no marker. Probably should have cleaned it like that beforehand. It would have saved a lot of stress trying to keep it clean. Intercooler goes back on now. I did forget to mention, I pulled each injector out individually. If I was to pull them all out, all 6 of them, I would have laid them on the bench and numbered either 1 to 6 or front to back, or basically laid them on the bench as they are. Always put them back in the same cylinder. Other than that, thanks for watching. Apologies if you're not doing this job, because you would have been bored as sin. Hopefully it helped someone. Until next time, catch you later.